another thing I wanted to bring in was this story of this 12-year-old girl, Jada West, who was a new girl. I don't remember what state it was in, but she was a new girl in some town or city, and she was 12 years old, started a new school, moved to a new place, and was getting bullied a lot. And one day she was taking the bus home, and there was a lot of bullies on her bus, a bunch of girls, and they got off at her bus stop, which was not their stop. And they ended up fighting, and Jada was left like unconscious on the ground, and someone did go to get her mother, and she ended up passing away shortly after that. And this just like hit my heart so deeply, because I can't believe still in 2026 we have this issue of severe bullying, especially at such a young age. I just feel so deeply for that mother. And I'm angry with parents and the lack of ownership and healing of themselves, because children learn from their parents how to treat other people. So the girls that felt like it was okay to get off the bus stop at this young girl's stop and continue bullying her and beating her until she was on the ground, brain dead. It just brings me back to myself. I grew up in southern Maine, and I was known as the black girl there. And I moved to North Carolina in 7th grade, and I was bullied there as well for being too light-skinned. I didn't really fit in anywhere. So when I moved to Roxborough at first, and then I moved to Durham, North Carolina, and the bullying was really bad in Durham from girls and boys. And my whole thing was ignoring, I had my headphones on. I was very alternative, emo, very different. And I usually just ignored people, and it actually would make them more mad, like they wanted to get a rise out of me. And it even got so bad that they were physically, boys too. I remember a boy physically threw an entire desk at me because the teacher was out of the room at the moment. And it's like, oh, that's a time to get her. And I would just ignore them. And I remember him literally picking up a desk and throwing it at me. And from girls, from boys, just like comments about my skin, comments about my hair. Just, I don't even remember everything. It was a very dark time for me. I remember I was self-harming at this time, and I begged my mom to let me stay home. I just got really depressed and wanted to stay home, and she let me. And I think she let me stay home for a week. And after that, she went to the principal, and we had a big meeting and a big discussion with our principal, Mr. Norwicki. I'll always remember him. He was so little and kind of nerdy, but he was like everyone. He didn't play. He knew how to handle a school of inner city, all races children, and he was just this little white nerdy dude, and honestly he was awesome. The room silenced when he was in the place. So I'm really happy that my mom did that. She to the school and made a deep concerning complaint. And after that, he held an entire um, ceremony or speech multiple times for every single grade. So I think it was during like our recess or after lunch period, he made it a point to carve out in the schedule a time to speak about bullying and the importance of it, why we don't do it, one. And two, he also suspended a couple of the kids that were bullying me. I think it was two of them, and they were both boys. And I felt safe again. I felt safe to go to school. After that, they did not bother me again. They didn't say anything, like they were absolutely terrified. And I know their parents had talkings with them too, because the principal really expressed this concern deeply. And that changed everything. It like brought a sunny light into my life when it felt like there was just rain clouds and rainstorms. This is why I encourage parents to talk to their children, because I didn't tell my mom at first. I was kind of just like embarrassed. I'm like, I don't want to talk, just leave me alone. I'd write a lot about it in my diary. Like, I hate my life, I want to kill myself. Which my mom did end up reading later on, like maybe a year or two later, when I left. And that was really hard for her to read. But it didn't have anything to do with her, really. It was a lot to do with the school that I went to and just the bullying that I experienced. So yeah, that was huge. And I just encourage parents to talk to your kids. And if there's something seems off, you know, do your best to get inside their mind. And you know, I'm not supportive of reading diaries, but I've heard so many times that that's saved lives. So, you know, if you have to do that to get inside of what's going on in your kid's life, I'm all for that, because it could be fatal and you never know what's going on, especially if they're not being open and talking with you. But that story just really and I was around the same age, 12, 13. It was 8th grade that was going on. 7th, 8th grade. So yeah, I really strongly urge parents to be active in your kid's life. And if your kid is a bully, it does fall on your shoulders, and they probably learned because you're also a bully. And this is something I'm always saying to people, grown adults that think they have a right to dominate or bully people, because their kids will be the karma of that. And can you imagine having that, like these girls, their parents now, like that your kids are pretty much little murderers because they learned from you that it was okay to bully and put their hands on someone else. So yeah, that story touched me deeply, touched my own story, made me want to speak out a little bit more about it for the kids of today that still have to deal with bullying, because it's absolutely ridiculous that we're in 2026 and bullying is still a thing. It does not make any sense to me, and it shows that adults, grown adults, people are not healing, and they think they have issues with conflict and domination and self-hatred. Really, it comes down to self-hate. If you're bullying someone so much that's doing nothing to you but just living their lives, you most likely hate yourself deeply inside internally, or hate something about your life, or have some deep wounds there. Maybe your parents even bullied you. So check your kids, check yourself, speak to the school officials. If your kid's getting bullied, please take it seriously and speak to the teachers. And if no one does anything, keep bringing it up to the higher ups, until you reach someone that's going to do something about it. Because I promise you, there will be one person at least that does something about it, that is a healed adult that takes their job seriously to protect children. And shame also on the bus driver who allowed these girls to get off at the stop that's not their stop. When I was young and you wanted to go to a friend's house, you had to have a note that approved someone else getting dropped off at your stop. This is why public schooling will not be for my children. This is what they have to deal with. Absolutely.